Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome to my review of the Planet Coaster Vintage Pack. So first of all, I want to give a huge thanks to Frontier Developments for allowing me early access to the DLC. I'm super honored that my little channel is even on their radar, that they would, you know, be willing to give me early access. So thank you so much, Frontier, for allowing me this early look at the DLC. So let's jump right into it. This DLC not only, or I should say this review, not only covers the DLC, but also what's included as part of the free update. Because as you know, there's, whenever they have their DLC, they also release a free update, which also, includes a few new, like usually a ride or two and some new scenery items. But first thing you might notice is the way the game looks, and you're like, Josh, what's going on? Well, that's part of the new camera effects they have, and these are all pretty awesome. So right now I am on Effect Bleak, but just like kind of like all your social media apps, you have these kind of built-in filters that give you all kinds of crazy new looks for your ride. I like this one a lot. This is called Trip. But yeah, just like all these really, like this is awesome. This sort of like negative look to it. It's called Inversion. This one gives your park like a 70s vibe, if that's something you want, if you're into. This one looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of almost like a newspaper. But yeah, you have all these effects. These two I'm not quite sure about. They're just solid black and solid white. But then, just all these different filters here. Plus, if you want, you can mess around with like film grain. So if you want to give it like a really, like if you want to do black and white and give it this like really cool old school vintage film grain look, there's obviously the little vignette options. You can add like the little kind of darkened border around the screen. You can make it a little darker, so if you want to do that. Definitely gives you that cool old school vibe there. I'm gonna go back to just the regular view here, and so everything, I made just this little park here. Whoop, camera. And everything in this park is from the DLC, with the exception of the trees. But first you'll see here's some new flat rides for you. I know everybody's been wanting a lot more flat rides. Well, they included 5 in this update, and yeah, so there's the Centrum, which is the good old like centrifuge ride that just spins around and guests get stuck to the wall there. We have this over here. This is the Hurricane 2, which I always kind of think of it as, whenever I see it in like carnivals, they call it like the Scrambler, where it just spins around and then the individual spokes spin around as well. It's a really fun ride. Over here we have Round the World. This is kind of the Ferris wheel ride where the little compartments there spin around as well. So, for those people who don't get sick from the spinny rides. This is one that was shown in their official live stream, kind of in their screenshots and everything. This is the Loop de Loop, and it's probably, I would say, the smallest flat ride that they have in the game so far. Like, as far as the footprint goes, it's a really small ride. And then we have over here, they showed this one off as well, Test Flight. So you have like the little individual planes, and the guests can control them and spin them around, and looks like a whole lot of fun. And then over here we have a mouse coaster. This is called Mouse Maze. Well, it's called Mouse Maze. It's Mouse Hunt roller coaster. Good old classic mouse coaster. And it comes with a really awesome kind of structure that goes around it. And all these are new. If we edit here, all these are new pieces. Mouse Hunt, hoarding secondary support. We have these little kind of billboard signs here. So very cool. So you can make your own fancy mouse roller coaster. You can add a really cool structure around it. And then we also have, which I kind of skipped over, didn't I? There's some new pre-made buildings. Of course, we have this fancy sort of entrance building here. It says Planko on each side. Has these really awesome new lettering with the lights and everything. And then a couple other little structures here as well, just for, you know, if you want to place them down. And they don't have any shops or anything in them, but they'd be pretty easy to edit and place some shops, especially if you maybe wanted to make the guests go inside a little bit. That would be very cool. And then the other thing that's been highly talked about are the new vending machines. And here we have all 4 new vending machines. Of course, we have the claw grab, which we have the good old King Coaster plushie in there. We have a nice gigantic gumball machine. That thing is huge. It's taller, or as tall as the guests are. We have some good old popcorn here. Gotta love some popcorn. And then we have Zoltan, which I always isn't Zoltan from the movie Big. But anyway, yeah, so we have these really cool vending machines here. And, you know, guests walk up to them and look, they're like the little popcorns popping. I mean, that is so awesome. And then if we see any guests come over the claw grab machine, the claw, it actually moves around and goes down. And, you know, sometimes, like all claw grab machines, you don't always get the prize. It just never seems to grab it. Oh, here we go. We got using the old Zoltan. Look at that. It's so cool. Oh, look at him go. And of course he's talking in Planko. Then we have over here a new wooden coaster. And this is the Zephyrus. And of course this is just this is the blueprint. It's included with it as well. I just placed it down. This is a really fun ride. It has a old school, kind of goes with the vintage vibe. Like if you get in real close, the wood just looks worn and kind of, you know, the paint is kind of faded and everything. Just the little details like of that, it looks so good. So good. Then we have another coaster, which is a bobsled coaster. And I know this has been a highly requested item, or coaster I should say. So yeah, we have a nice wooden bobsled coaster. Let's watch it go down. Let's check it out. Got a really cool like little figure 8 as it drops down. Bobsleds are cool because they're not actually on tracks. You know, they just it even sounds like it's running on wood. Like Frontier are so good with their sound design. Of course, we have right here, we have the hot air balloons, which there's nobody in them, which was a bit disappointing. It would have been cool if there was like at least like an animatronic operator in there. But they are cool because they do lift up and down. And you can see this guy, he's dropping, and they just kind of go up and down, and it's really cool. I'm really happy to see you know, animatronics like this added to the game, because it just adds such a cool new look to your park. I could definitely envision people, these aren't actually rides, but I could definitely envision people kind of creating their own ride, so to speak. But then, oh wait, yeah, there's this too. Look, this was totally unexpected. Like this was not something I expected to see in Planet Coaster, but they added trapeze artists. Look, they're just animatronics, and they just swing back and forth. I can watch them go. Whoa, she went flipping up in the air. And he's gonna flip her back. She's gonna grab back on. And then she does her little like pose. Ta-da! And of course we have all these over here, which like that I could almost see like people making like a little circus tent and putting these trapeze animatronics in there. That, like, how cool would that be? Super cool. But yeah, so then what I did over here is I just placed all of the building pieces and all of the scenery pieces included with the vintage pack here. So like if we go in, so we have all kinds of like new tin paneled building pieces here, these tin roofs, and they make really cool, if I place it down, like really cool little like tin sounds. We have this creepy clown face archway. He even makes like a little laugh when you place him down. I don't know. We have these here little doors. These aren't animatronic doors. They're just, you know, if you wanted to like kind of separate them, make a little walkway that goes through, you could definitely do that. We have all kinds of new little trim pieces. Again, just, you know, Frontier is so good with all their little details. Like, you can zoom right in and the details just still look so good. So good. Like, I love, like, this looks like wood. It looks like painted wood. That kind of looked like a tongue at this, like, it kind of looked like the little tongue is like sticking out of the little face there. So yeah, we just, all kinds of new little pieces. We have little archways. We have these like painted wood plank pillars, and again, just the little details. It looks, with, you know, going with the whole vintage vibe, it, you know, it's worn, it's chipped, it just looks, it looks so good. So good. One of my favorite additions to this, honestly, are these little banners. They look, how cool are those? Look how good they look. I'm gonna turn off the GUI here. Like that, it looks like a painting. They did such an amazing job with these. And it would look so cool, like if you're making your little vintage park and just kind of placing these around, or placing them on buildings, or even on rides. Like, that's so cool. It looks so good. Oh, there was some over here I forgot to show off. So we have a really cool vintage car. And when they announced that, you know, this DLC was going to be a vintage pack, I was really hoping that they would include some vintage cars. Now, I will say they only included one, which is this one, and it looks great. And obviously it's, you know, like the other vehicles they've added, the tires are, if I can select the tire, tires are separate from the actual body of the car. But yeah, it looks really cool. I just kind of placed it here, like, you know, kind of like a little showpiece. There's some new planters, there's some new bushes with like flowery bushes and things. Looks so good. And then we get to, dun, 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 dun. These are the new scenery items included with the vintage pack. So we have a really cool bandstand here. We have like a wooden elephant. We have a carousel horse, a little penguin. I like the little penguin. Look at the little penguin. Look at him. He's kind of standing there all stoic looking. We have this animatronic drummer monkey, and then just a bunch of like little, like these are tree guards. You know, you see sometimes like on trees, they have the little tree guards at the bottom. We also have this really cool steampunk looking engine generator. Again, just the little details and all the little movements and pieces and parts. Looks so good. We have, I love this little pipe organ that plays. Alright, I'll let you listen to the music for a second. And again, we have like little pictures change. You see the little keys moving. And we have an animatronic door with a creepy smiley clown face. I could definitely see people combining this with some items from the Spooky Pack DLC and making like a vintage haunted house kind of ride. That would be very cool. And then we have our vintage quartet band here, and they're singing the good old Planet Coaster theme song. Let's listen in. So yeah, again, just the little details that, you know, they add, and oh, they take their hats, they do their little bows, and then they stand there and then they start over. So again, super cool. Also, I love the shadow of the hot air balloon. Like, that's very, I mean, obviously there's always been shadows in the game, but it's just a cool thing to kind of see randomly. And then here we have, you've already seen these, the little vintage letterbox pieces. I just spelled out vintage pack, but they have the entire alphabet. Actually, do they have numbers as well? I forgot to look at that. Let's look at, dun, 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 dun. No, they don't have the numbers, they just have letters. Maybe they will add numbers at some point. But anyway, those are super cool. They also look really good at night. If we flip it to nighttime, has a yellow lighting in there, and you can change the colors too. So if you want like, I don't know, if you want red lights or like purple lights, as with anything, just about everything in Planet Coaster, almost everything is colorable, you know, especially as they release more content, because they know everybody wants to recolor things. So almost all items in the, you know, the new DLCs that come out are, they call flexicolor. I know we have an issue with overflowing bins. I apologize, I didn't hire any. Here, I know we're not actually playing, but you know, let's just get ourselves our little janitor guy. Okay, so there is one more thing that I wanted to save for the end, because when I saw it, I was totally shocked, and I knew that it'll probably be a pretty big deal, and something that some of the more advanced roller coaster builders out there with Planet Coaster, they like to build their own or create their own supports for their roller coasters. Well, in this pack, we have brand new coaster supports. Look at that. Now, admittedly, I haven't made my own custom supports for roller coasters as of yet, but they include all of these nice new supports. And maybe going forward, I will actually start making my own custom supports. So we have all the different types of support bases. We have, if you want, you know, like your circular kind of tubing supports, we have square. We have this giant support there. We have like the large blocks that don't have the little, you know, I guess you'd call, what is like this piece called? Called the flange. So if you want to build these blocks without the flange or with the flange, you could do that. So yeah, I just thought that would be, these pieces are really cool too. I thought this would be probably pretty huge for the Planet Coaster community, adding the ability to, you know, or having the in-game supports like that. So I think that's pretty huge. So that's that about wraps it up for my review of the new vintage pack. So hopefully you guys get it and you play around with it and you think it's a lot of fun. The camera effects are super cool. Let's go back to let's do, oh yeah, you have to select it, so make sure you hit the little checkbox. So we could do like which one do we want to do? I like this one because it takes out all the color except for red. I think that one's really cool. I mean, they're all so cool. So if you want to go like, we go classic like sepia, and then maybe we add some film grain, not a lot, just a little bit. Add a little vignette around the borders. Oh, also you want to make sure you do, if you want to play with the filters on, make sure you just click the color correction always on. That way when you exit the menu, it will always be on. So yeah, there you have it. That's my review of the Planet Coaster Vintage Pack DLC. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Personally, I think it's worth the money. You know, I know a lot of people may or may not have issues with you know, purchasing DLC for Planet Coaster, but in my opinion, they always put so much work and so much effort into their DLC packs that to me, I feel like they've always been worth it. And this one is no different. I definitely recommend it. And again, I just want to give a huge thanks to Frontier Developments for you know, allowing me to have early access to this DLC and a chance to kind of play around with it and, you know, make this video for all of you to see. Oh, I just also realized this guy's a little low because he just kind of sunk down into the ground. But yeah, anyway, so you know, be sure to leave your comments and suggestions and your feedback down below. Let me know what you think about the vintage pack. This video comes out the day before the actual release, so you know, if you pick up the pack, let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite things are or what you plan to build with all the new items from the pack. So yeah, again, thank you all so much for watching this review. Hope you liked it, and I am 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.